Google Glass. Google Glass was a $500 billion company's attempt to put a computer on your face, and it made everyone who wore one look ridiculous. In 2013, Google unveiled a pair of glasses with a tiny screen, a camera, and a voice assistant hovering over your right eye. The launch was pure spectacle. Skydivers wearing glass streamed their jump live onto a stage at a Google conference. The press called it the future. Early units sold to explorers for $1,500 each. Then reality set in. The camera meant anyone wearing glass could be filming you at any moment, and the public turned on it fast. Wearers were banned from bars and restaurants and earned a nickname that stuck: glassholes. Between that, a one-day battery, and no clear reason to own one, the consumer version was quietly pulled in 2015. Google Glass didn't kill Google. The company barely felt it. But it proved that the most powerful technology in the world means nothing if it makes people hate the person using it. Amazon Fire Phone. The Fire Phone was Amazon's attempt to own the device in your pocket the way it owned the store on your screen. It lasted about a year. In July 2014, Jeff Bezos personally unveiled the Fire Phone. Its headline feature was Dynamic Perspective, 4 cameras tracking your face to create a 3D effect on the screen. It launched at $199, locked to a single carrier, priced like a flagship iPhone. But the 3D gimmick solved no problem anyone had, and the phone did everything a normal phone did, only worse. Customers stayed away. Within months, Amazon slashed the price from $199 to 99 cents. Then it took a $170 million write-down on the unsold inventory it couldn't give away. The Fire Phone didn't kill Amazon. Amazon is worth trillions. But it's the reminder that being a giant in one market guarantees you nothing in the next. Quibi. Quibi raised $1.75 billion to solve a problem that didn't exist and burned through all of it in 6 months. The pitch was short-form premium video, Hollywood-quality shows in 10-minute chunks made for your phone. It was run by 2 of the most powerful people in media, Jeffrey Katzenberg, who built DreamWorks, and Meg Whitman, former CEO of eBay and Hewlett-Packard. That reputation pulled in nearly $2 billion from investors and studios before a single subscriber signed up. Quibi launched in April 2020, the exact week the world locked down and no one was commuting anymore. The one moment its watch-on-the-go concept made no sense. But the timing only exposed a deeper flaw. Nobody wanted to pay for short videos when TikTok and YouTube were free. In December 2020, 6 months after launch, Quibi shut down and returned what cash was left to investors. $2 billion, 2 industry legends, 6 months. The most expensive failure to notice that free already existed. Microsoft Zune. The Zune was Microsoft's iPod killer. It arrived 5 years too late to kill anything. By the time the Zune launched in 2006, the iPod already owned the music player market and had for years. Microsoft's device wasn't bad. Later models were genuinely good. But it did almost exactly what the iPod did, without any reason to switch, and against a competitor that had already won the culture. Apple sold hundreds of millions of iPods. The Zune peaked at a low single-digit share and never moved. Microsoft quietly killed new Zune hardware in 2011, and here's the pattern worth noticing. Microsoft would keep doing this. It killed the Kin, a phone it pulled from shelves in about 48 days. It would later write off most of the $7 billion it paid for Nokia's phone business. The Zune didn't kill Microsoft. Microsoft is one of the most valuable companies on earth. But being early beats being better, and the Zune was neither. Magic Leap. Magic Leap raised $3.5 billion for a product almost no one had seen, based almost entirely on a video that wasn't real. The startup promised mixed reality. Digital objects blended seamlessly into the world through a pair of glasses. Its most famous demo showed a whale breaching through the floor of a school gymnasium, splashing water as students watched. It was breathtaking. It was also created by a visual effects studio, not filmed through the actual device. On the strength of that vision, Magic Leap raised money from Google, Alibaba, and Disney, reaching a valuation of over $6 billion. Then, in 2018, the product finally shipped. It was a bulky headset with a narrow field of view that looked nothing like the Whale. It reportedly sold around 6,000 units against a target of 1 million in its first year. The founder eventually left, and the company pivoted away from consumers. $3.5 billion bought the most convincing demo in tech history. The product just couldn't be the demo. Juicero. Juicero raised over $120 million to sell a $400 machine that squeezed bags of juice. Then someone discovered you could squeeze the bags with your hands. Silicon Valley loved Juicero. The pitch was a sleek Wi-Fi connected press that squeezed proprietary packets of chopped fruits and vegetables into fresh juice, the Keurig for juice. Investors, including Google's venture arm, poured in over $120 million. The machine launched at $700, later cut to $400. Then, in April 2017, Bloomberg published a video that ended the company. Reporters found that you didn't need the $400 machine at all. You could take the juice packet, squeeze it with your bare hands, and get the juice out just as fast. The elaborate Wi-Fi-enabled press was squeezing a bag that a human hand could squeeze for free. The company became a punchline overnight and shut down about 5 months later. Juicero built a connected, app-enabled, venture-backed machine to do something your hands already did. It raised $120 million to reinvent squeezing. The Metaverse. Every flop on this list cost millions or a few billion. This one has lost over $50 billion. And it's still losing. In 2021, Mark Zuckerberg renamed Facebook to Meta and bet the company's future on the Metaverse, a virtual world people would enter through headsets to work, play, and socialize. To signal how serious he was, he poured resources into a division called Reality Labs. The flagship experience, Horizon Worlds, was mocked for cartoonish, legless avatars that looked a decade out of date. Users never came in the numbers promised. The scale of the spending is what makes this different from everything else here. Since 2020, Reality Labs has lost more than $50 billion, with losses continuing at over $1 billion a month. It is one of the most expensive bets in corporate history, and the verdict isn't fully in. Meta can afford it. The advertising business funds everything. But no company has ever spent this much money to convince the world of something the world didn't ask for. Segway. The Segway was going to redesign the modern city. Instead, it became a punchline. And then, it killed the man who owned it. Before its 2001 reveal, the Segway was the most hyped gadget on Earth. Known only by the codename Ginger, it was teased as a device so revolutionary that Steve Jobs reportedly said it could be bigger than the personal computer. Its inventor predicted selling 10,000 units a week and reshaping how cities were built. Then, the world saw it. A two-wheeled, self-balancing scooter you stood on. It cost about $5,000. In its first several years, it sold around 30,000 units total, roughly what it was supposed to sell in 3 weeks. The Segway never reshaped a single city. It became shorthand for overhyped technology, the thing mall cops and tourists rode. But the strangest part came in 2010. The company had been bought by a British businessman named Jimmy Heselden. That year, while riding a Segway across his estate, he rode it off a cliff and into a river below. He died on the very product his company made. The Segway promised to change how the world moved. In the end, the most memorable thing it ever did was drive its own owner off the edge of a cliff. A bad product can bury a company. A crash can bury them all.